evolved, you go, oh, there's a lot more than just physical detox. So she's ahead of the game, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of emotional stuff for detoxing. And I have found there are a lot of other things in addition that are also requiring detox. Things we'll be delving into today, like mental thought forms. I have found things called projected thought forms. Now, this, conspiracy theory aside, it's just what I found, guys, is that there are thought forms literally beaming out on purpose to help us believe in certain things. Now, there's some of us that are
Right.
impervious to that, but we can find it and we go, oh, that's interesting, But then you'll see people around you totally fall for that. And you're like, whoa, wow. So emotional stuff, of course,
Oh,
that's the more evolved people I kind of get that that's important, but there's also spiritual things we need to detoxify, dimensional things, energetic things. So these are things that we address in the holographic light body detox codes.
interesting. So projected thought fields, collective thought forms. I've heard this term called an egregore, which is like a collection of thoughts. It almost like forms like imagine like a bubble, right? And you get pulled into this bubble, and then all of a sudden you sort of have this group think. Um, Tell me a little bit more about that. What would be a sign that maybe somebody is in a pattern where some of these thought fields are not necessarily true to their true nature, but they're in their field, they're in their reality, and now they're creating something in their life that maybe they don't want.
Yes. Sometimes it can be very subtle, but on a grosser, bigger level, the easiest way to know whether or not someone might be susceptible is if they watch the news. I know that sounds very like, simple for those of you here, but it really is amazing how when we are stepping out of the so-called, matrix and we're watching someone watch the news and we see where their thoughts go and then the anxieties and emotions that follow, it's very, very clear there is, a path, and a lot of that seems to be repetitive and purposeful and intentional.
Yeah.
I can't prove it, but we can see that it is happening to people we love and people around us. And sometimes we're like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I also think like if you find yourself like having a rapid health change, although this isn't the only reason, but this could be like a rapid health, energy, or just aging change. You maybe like turn a certain age and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, in the last like year, it's like I'm falling apart. Did you connect to
Mm.
a frequency or a belief pattern that at a certain age, this is what I should have? And then all of a sudden, like you start having it, right? Starts popping up. Oh, my knees are hurting. Oh, my hair's thinning. Oh, my back is hurting. Let me know. Has that happened to y'all? I'm curious. Or maybe you've connected to a certain belief and then now you're finding a cascade of other beliefs that are now following it. Like, oh, well, the economy's not that great. And then now, your own income or your job gets more difficult. I'm just curious. Let me know what y'all are feeling. This is kind of wild stuff. April says, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just look at the recent elections. Yeah, there's so much here. Yes, thoughts are contagious. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, contagion. Yeah, I mean there's definitely argument about what really is a contagion, but absolutely thought forms are contagious. So it does take consciousness to be able to separate ourselves. And you're absolutely right, Darius. That's one of the pet peeves that my husband has is when people talk about being old and having,
yeah.
let's just say, old symptoms. So he doesn't even say the word old anymore. He says level up. So when someone has a birthday, he'll say, "What level are you?"
I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
that's very
yeah.
cool. I remember listening Napoleon Hill said like he stopped counting at age like 30, his age. And so he just pretty much was like 30 after a certain point. And but it is in that, in that box of whatever you're in, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, there's like this collection of stuff. And what's interesting is that's not even the collection of stuff that I think actually is what those people should be experiencing, because you look at like an 80-year-old, let's say in Japan or in some of the blue zones, their reality is very different than like an 80-year-old, let's say in a part of the United States where everybody's consuming fast food or not necessarily going outside much. There's a totally different space there. But in these boxes, there's all these collective beliefs, and a lot of these are imprinted, as you said, from media, society, but perhaps other dimensions or other agendas that we don't even fully understand, but we just got to be able to choose what it is we want, right, Dr. Karen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that consciousness is important. And it's very funny we're talking about this today, Darius, because literally a few days ago, Diane from our community said that she was having difficulty with showing her art. She had a lot of negative thoughts. She became, really acutely aware of the negative thought forms that were going running over and over and over in her mind.
Yeah.
Now, she's in my level one program, and she thought, well, I know what they are, so why don't I just delete them? So she did, and she felt that shift. She had her art exhibition. It was an amazing win, so she posted it in our Light Medicine community so we could all celebrate with her. Yay, Diane! So yeah, it can be that quick,
Wow.
guys.
Wow, that is incredible. One of the things I want to mention for anybody here is we're going to talk about health and kind of, healing and healing moving forward. But do a lot of you know that we're actually supposed to live well beyond 350 years of age? You heard that before? Because in the Bible they were like living like 5, 6, 7, 800 years. So what I've heard is that our thymus glands have actually been sort of like we're told that our thymus only is super active when we're young and then it just basically has no purpose. But this thymus is actually designed to give us four different lifespans or life cycles, each about 85 years old. So you add that up, and now you're at least at 340 years old. I just throw that out there as like, here's a new idea to put into the thought bubble. So if you think you're like old at 80, really that's just your first life cycle. And with that thymus working, you should be able to now move into another life. Just throw that out there.
I love
let,
it. I
let me know
love
what
it.
y'all think about that. I want to hear, like, did that just kind of make you go, whoa, whoa, what?
Yeah, why not, right? Like I
Why
think the
not?
Sumerian tablet said something, people living 5,000 years, and I was like, okay.
That is true. Yeah. So see, now we just went up another level. Like, whoa, 800. Why would I settle for 300, 5,000? But this is how these thoughts are contagious. So tell me
Mm.
about holographic detox, because this is where I could say that, but then if you still think that 50 is old, like you're still going to be plugged into that structure of all those thoughts from someone who's 50 and feeling really break like they're breaking down. What does holographic detox and these codes have to do with this?
Yeah, so what I describe as holographic is really understanding that each part of us is a part of the whole. And
Mm,
when we heal any aspect of us, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual, dimensional, or otherworldly stuff that we are feeling, we are not only healing that aspect because that aspect connects with other aspects of ourselves and then our communities, our alternate lives, our who we call soul destiny partners, those who we have agreed to help or they have agreed to help us, in this lifetime, and even alternate soul destiny partners. So we are expanding beyond the so called here and now in this timeline. And why bother? Because we're noticing people having symptoms and issues, including health issues, because they're not understanding that there is stuff way beyond this reality that is affecting them because they have superpowers and they can feel it.
yeah, I agree with you. Okay, we're going to dive into more of this. And if you have a question for Dr. Karen, go ahead and raise your hand. A lot of people writing in as well. I was told today that have no business working on a roof, being a woman on my 61st journey around the sun, says Tina. And she writes in all caps, mind you, not my truth. Hooray for
There you
you.
go. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Karen says, I love that. I'm ready for 4,000 years.
Okay, well
And Eden
done.
Eden says, I totally believe we can live longer. It's the programs that make us think we are limited. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely, and we want to get out of those programs. And this is where I could talk about it, but you're the expert on getting people out of these programs. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with sensitives when they try to detox the traditional way. Does it work? Do they just get the body, but then like the thoughts and all of that kind of stay connected to some of these different timelines and dimensionals? What's going on with sensitives?
Yes, so sensitive souls may, buy whatever it is on the ad because it sounds good, feels good. Sometimes sensitive souls
Mm,
can feel the intention even of the person marketing it. Not that that's a bad thing, right? But we can't even discern that it's not our will or that our true intuitive sense, and we feel the marketer's intuition or we feel their will and we go, oh, this must be for me. Now, again, I'm not saying that detoxing physically is bad, but there are two things I really want to get across today regarding the safety of physical detox. Number one is you have to have enough what I call vital chi, that is
Mm.
life force, in order for you to detox physically safely. What happens when we don't have enough life force, when we are depleted because we have overdone? How many people overgive? Yeah, most of you, right? Like sensitive souls love to help people, so
Overgive.
we
Mm.
overgive and we get depleted. There's a lot of women here. When we do that, guess what? We don't have the testosterone that the guys have. We
Oh.
use our adrenals and our
Oh.
adrenal glands, the cortisol. We cannot do that for very long. We will burn out, have done that, been there, done that, had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, multiple chemical sensitivities, you name it. I mean, I was a mess. However, luckily for me, I did connect with those other parts of myself. And that holographic detox is helpful because it's not just about the physical. So we talked about vital chi. The second thing is, do we have we're talking about physical detox and its safety. Are the detox organs happy? Like nobody asked that. It drives me bananas. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like even then, naturopaths, I mean, they're on the right path, right? They're not using pharmaceuticals, they're using nature and food and all the kind of stuff. But even they don't know how, and you guys will know after today, how to assess that. It's actually really easy. You tune into source, you do some divine muscle testing, and you ask, how happy are my detox systems? And then individually, how happy is my liver, my kidneys, left, right, my adrenals, left, right, my lymphatic system, my lungs, my skin, my colon, right? And you get a sense of how happy and how good the drainage system is. If you get over 95% happy on all of those, you're probably good to go. If your vital chi is also over 95, you're probably good to go. Almost nobody does this, drives me nuts. I've had patients come into my office when I had a brick and mortar practice and they'd
Mm-hmm.
be exhausted, sick. There'd be, I
Mm.
have one guy with lumps on his skin. I'm like, what did you do? He says,
Yeah.
oh, I bought this program online. And I'm like, no, his body wasn't ready. So please remember that, guys. And Darius,
Ooh.
I can tell you most people will detox and they think they can just go and work their 40 or 60 hours a week. I don't think so. Like if you're going to go on vacation and detox, that's one thing. You're going to sleep, you're going to rejuvenate. Detox takes energy, guys. So don't do the physical detox while you're working full time. It's completely ridiculous. Of course, the way I share with the holographic codes is that we can heal a lot of the metaphysical stuff really quickly, easily, without depletion, and then it'll set you up really well if you do desire to do the physical in a more kind of gross and biological way. Gross meaning like the 3D way.
Right. This is really interesting. So you're drawing a line. I think this is where, I'm getting illuminated here too, is that there's the traditional physical detox, but then what you're actually doing is a holographic detox using some of these detox codes and rejuvenation methodologies. And it kind of seems to me like if you were going to even consider doing a physical detox, what if some of the physical stuff you're trying to detox from is actually in the holographic space, right? Why not start at the root? Why not start at the level of the film projector and go ahead and change what's being projected versus trying to go up to the screen where the movie is and try to erase it? Well, it's not from the screen, it's coming from the projector. And that's where the holographic detox would make the most sense, right?
Yeah, that's a really great point. I mean, we're not saying there aren't physical toxins. Of course, there are physical toxins, right? There are heavy metals,
Yep.
there are phthalates, there's bisphenol A. Like, most people in the United States do not realize there are thousands of chemicals, and some released every single year that do not have to go through safety testing. Let me repeat that. Thousands of chemicals released year to year to year that do not have to go through safety testing. They only get pulled off the market when there's a problem. Well, how are you going to know? We
Yeah.
are inundated with chemicals, right? And that's just the physical. What about electromagnetic frequencies, 5G, 6G? The really cool thing is holographically using the detox goes, using TOLPAKAN healing method, we can neutralize all of that very, very quickly.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to dive into this and some of the holographic detox things that we have for folks today. This is super exciting. First time you've ever done this, everyone. Super cool. Let me know how y'all are enjoying things so far with Dr. Karen. Are you learning something? I don't know if it's that you can live to be 800 years. Who knows? Or is it that we have different levels we need to think about detoxifying from, and that there's so much coming at us? And as we get more sensitive, as we become more aware, we tend to become like more sensitive, radio signaling systems that can like pull in information from all sorts of places, whether it's good for us or not. Does everybody kind of, are you getting that? Did you pull that from the first 35 minutes of the show? And let me know as people are writing in. Dr. Karen, one of the things we talked about doing, which I thought is very interesting, is maybe tuning into the group a little bit and seeing kind of where they're at, maybe in some different levels. I know you do a lot of fascinating group readings. So can we do something like that? And yeah, Christine says, yeah, we're learning a lot. Oh, I always love Dr. Karen. This is so helpful. So true. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. You have to detox everything, says Karen Krupa. The whole thing, person, energetic, mental, physical, emotional too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Spot on.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we could do a number of things. We can get into that space where we can connect and we can do some readings or some assessments. On the bigger group level, we can actually check in to see, I would think, and I'm going to write myself notes so I remember what I tested, the percentage of people who are actually safe to do a physical detox at this moment. We could check that.
Wow. And if
Okay.
y'all have any, and I'm just watching the line, if y'all have any like situations in your body that are just not what you want, send them in. We got some people saying, I keep gaining weight. I don't know why. I don't feel good. I feel tired. I don't know why. This could be maybe something where you need to do a sort of holographic detox first. I don't know, but keep sharing. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Karen. Sorry.
Yeah. So, with your permission, and if we're ready for that, I'll walk people through just a quick connect so we can connect with each other in the 0 point field. And then I'm going to do some mini assessments, and then we can continue to do them later, as we talk. So, I thought of three things we can check right now for people. Number one is the percentage of people who are actually safe to do any sort of physical detox. Okay. Now, safe,
Mm,
what I mean by safe in my way of saying safe is 95% vital chi levels on average, okay? And also 95% happy detox organs and 95% drainage capability. Somebody in the chat just said, hey, my labs show that my drainage isn't so great. Well, that's great that you have some proof of that. And the really cool thing is that we've seen people where they've done this metaphysical, if you will, work, and then the labs show the difference. It's really, really fun. And then the third is we could just check on average, how happy are people's vital chi? Because we have, three stages of our holographic light body detox and rejuvenation. And the second stage, we're actually adding positive energy. So it's not just about detoxing, it's literally giving the energy body enough oomph and a lot of
mm.
positive frequencies so it can do the job even better.
Okay. If y'all consent, let us know. Maybe just type yes in the chat. That'd be super cool. And if you don't consent, we just won't read you then. But we'll get
Yeah.
everybody that can say, we always
Oh,
we always
yeah.
put things above board. We just want
Yes.
everybody is a sovereign divine being. That's the whole thing here. So it's like your choice, but let us know. And whenever Dr. Karen, you want to kind of start kind of layering through some of these readings for the whole group, go ahead.
All right, let's begin. So, if you're here with us live, but even if you're on the replay, guess what? We are going to include you because there's no time. Time is a thing, it's a construct. So, we can go backwards and forwards in time, hence the holographic, and we can actually include you as well. So, if People are safe to do so. If you're in a car
Mm.
driving, don't do this, but it's okay. We're still including you. Let's go ahead and kind of get into the body. You can rub your hands, stamp your feet, just get some body movement, and that'll activate some energy in the body. And then you can relax. If you want to, you can close your eyes. And we are doing what we're calling STOAM, stillness through observing internal movement. It's one of the first things we do to connect to source and align with those energies. So go ahead and focus on your body. Feel any movement that you notice in the body. Could be where your hands were moving, feet were moving. And then follow the flow of that movement, tingles, waves, pulses, vibrations, anything at all. You don't have to judge it. Just go ahead and follow it. Yep, I can feel you got good. Very good. Awesome. Continue following. Even though I'm doing muscle testing on the whole group, you can just continue following the vibration, and that'll help me become even more accurate and be able to test the whole group, past, present, and future. So let's see here. I'm just going to do some muscle testing pre-checks. Okay, I'm good to go. All right, so let's do our first question. I would like to know, so we're asking source, we're connecting to the highest source of information. What percentage of people here and on the replay are safe to physically detox? In other words, they're 95% happy on all the things we mentioned before. 50, no, 40, no, 30, no, 20, no, 10, yes, 11, yes, 12, yes, 13, no. So about 12% of people are healthy enough, and this is just physically, okay, healthy enough to embark on a physical detox program. Okay, let's ask the second question. Let's talk a little bit about the drainage pathways. So when we have physical detox, we need to open up our drainage pathways. So that could be the colon, that could be the sweat, that could be lymphatics. There's a whole bunch of different things. What percentage of people are over 75% healthy in their physical drainage pathways? 50, no, 40, yes, about 40%. Okay. And let's just check how many people have over 95% vital energy. Now, we're just talking about physical detox. We can do some assessments for the other a little later. So, how many people have the energy to do any sort of physical detox program right now? Over 95%. 50, nope, 40, 30, 20, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 11%. Okay, so we're hovering around 11 to 12%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of us that are depleted, apparently.
So only 11% of people, according to this measurement, so 89% of us roughly, if we did a physical detox, it might not be the best thing to do. We would want to start with something more emotional, holographic, dimensional, it
Well, we
sounds
want to
like.
recharge the battery.
Oh,
So
recharge the
vital
battery.
chi
Okay.
is like, your battery. If your battery is half full, it's probably not a good idea, to go on a long trek or journey, right? Like we want to make sure we're repleted, and which is why in the program we talk about removing things, but we also talk about adding the energy back in to rejuvenate the body. Don't do one and then skip the other.
Wow. Okay, let's run through some of those statistics in terms of what we got, Karen. And then what I would like to do, Dr. Karen, is maybe take some callers and see where people are at and what's going on. And we can kind of dive into some individual bodies today as well. So, what did we
Yeah.
get? Give me the summary if you can remember. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so we have 12% of people
Okay.
actually are at the stage where I would consider them safe to do any sort of physical detox. Physical detox meaning we're doing herbs, we're
Wow.
doing
Okay.
juicing, we're doing MMS, we're doing zeolite. Like there's a lot of things out there, supplements to do detox. Most of us are not at the stage where it's safe and efficient. What happens when it's not safe and efficient? You feel extra tired. Sometimes you get, and unfortunately, sometimes it's permanent lumps or skin issues because the skin will
Mm.
detox you when the other organs are too weak to do it. And I've seen people with literally like I've even had that happen to me. One time a friend of mine said, "Oh, try this product," right? And me not thinking like too much of it. Oh, it sounds good. This sounds safe. This was many years ago. I did it, and the next day I had brown spots all over my abdomen. I'm like, what did I just do? What just happened? you know, it was crazy. So we have 12% of people who are safe to physically detox, 40% of people who have at least 75%, not 95%, but at least 75% that their drainage pathways physically are open. Again, we did not measure the non-physical, just the physical. And then the vital chi, only 11% of people are 95% happy in their vital
Wow.
energy. So many of us are depleted.
Let me ask a question real quick to everyone. Do y'all feel kind of depleted or like just something isn't flowing? Because it's very interesting that only 40% of people had 75% of their detox pathways, I guess, open and flowing. That's still kind of low because you said really we want to be at like 95%. Right.
Ideally,
Ideally. So
yeah.
how many people, I don't know if you can do one more read for me. How many people would you say are at 95%, which would be the optimum opening of these detox pathways? Can you get a reading on that?
Yeah, and
Okay.
let's do this. I think, well, we'll say the majority of people, we're gonna just assume that, you're not, totally like sitting up with your feet up and able to do whatever you want every day. Like a lot of people work, a lot of people do other kinds of
Yeah.
jobs. So I'm going to assume that we're going to measure you when you're at work or during the day, not on the weekend. So that
Okay.
is going to narrow it down to this band of Monday through Friday during the work week. So I'd like to know, and again, feel
Mm,
energy in your body if you happen to be in stillness with me. What percentage of people here and on the replay, while during the work week, is their vital chi over 95% happy and balanced? 7%. Okay. So
wow.
there's a few of us that are very healthy, at least
Yeah,
physically.
but 93% would
Yeah.
be not necessarily in that range of chi energy that's really balanced. Wow. Okay. So,
Right, right. Oh, and somebody in the chat, Darius was mentioning about, oh darn,
mhm,
I took MMS. Well, it's not the end of the world, right? We want to be able to measure
mhm.
like your battery, like how happy is your chi and vital force. Because what happens if you start a cleanse and you don't have enough energy? The toxins just recirculate in your body. It doesn't come out. Ugh, and that sucks. That sucks because you get more and more tired. Most people don't know they need more minerals, so nobody tells them to take more minerals. And nobody tells them to not work while you're doing a physical cleanse. So these things drive me a little nuts. Can you
Wow.
tell?
Yeah, I do. And this is incredible. I mean, this is kind of like thing no one's talking about. Like everyone's talking about detox, but no one's talking about the fact that these detoxes could be really wearing folks down. And as you're seeing it, there could be stuff you're trying to detox that isn't even physical. It's emotional, it's dimensional. Like we're
Exactly.
gonna get into that, right? It's holographic, right? And this is like, whoa, this is a big news story here. Of course, no one will talk about this for probably on the mainstream for another 30 years, but we'll hold space that they do. I want to hear from a lot of you because go ahead and raise your hand. I know we got a lot of folks on, but I asked the question, are you feeling kind of drained, lethargic? Like, do
Mm,
you feel like things aren't moving, flowing? And here's what we got back. We got a lot of folks coming back. Jean says, yes, I am. Menopause is an issue. It affects everything. It seems like another person wrote in and said, I'm surprised even 7% are so perfect these days. Another person wrote in, I try to envision flow in my body, but I am severely, extremely depleted. She said, actually, extremely. I'm sorry. Jean Wells says, I feel great. So that's awesome. Good for you, Jean. And send us all that energy, man. Of our Jean, please. Carrie B, yes, aches in my joints, no energy. Elizabeth, so depleted, not functioning at all. Tatiana, yes, depleted. Martine, yes, depleted. Penny, yes. Let's see what else is going on. I feel good today. Simona says yes. Barb says yes. Grisette, yes. So yeah, a lot of people feeling depleted. And what I want to do,
mm.
let's dive into some of the individual things you see. Can we do like some maybe 2 or 3 minute mini sessions? And everyone, guys, and girls, we started about 5 minutes late. So just know we may go a little longer today. Don't worry. We will do a group process for everybody as well, probably at about 55 minutes after the hour. So that's going to be really exciting because we're going to start everybody on this detox like today. Like we're going to talk about it. We're going to start the process. Super cool. Can we take some callers, Dr. Karen?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to mention somebody
Yeah.
in the chat said, "What's MMS?" Well, they call it a miracle solution. It's a way to get toxins physically pulled out of the body. And I do have a not so happy story about that. One of my patients, I had muscle. This is way back when that I was like really into physical detox, right? And I had muscle tested him to do it for 2 weeks. A
Mm,
specific dose you know, for 2 weeks. Well, he didn't come back in 2 weeks. And on his
mm.
paper, and I do everything on paper because that's what I like to do, I documented 2 weeks, then reassess. Well, guess what? I didn't see him for 6 weeks. So he comes back, sorry, I canceled my appointment and blah, 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 blah. I said, I hope you're not still on this. He goes, yeah, I am. I said, it says to reassess after 2 weeks. He goes, well, I just kept taking it. Oh my gosh, you know what happened? He had 7 new cavities in his mouth, and he had no idea why. And I'm like, well, let me check. It was from the MMS. Now, I don't want to scare people that are taking MMS, but the point is it actually uses minerals in your body to get rid of the toxins. And if you don't have enough minerals, the body will take it from your bones.
And
It'll take it from
teeth.
your bones. And
And
so I was
teeth.
like, no. So we got it better, but the point is that learn to tune in, right? Learn to muscle test, learn to tune in, ask quality questions. So you're not just blanket using some sort of protocol that some other doctor or some other person used because it may not be appropriate for you. So, Darius, I'm going to have you
Wow.
choose who we should work on.
Okay. Yeah, raise your hand by going to the little react button at the bottom of the screen. There's a little heart there. And then we're going to try to get to a couple people here. And then we have something for everybody. For you spending your time here with us today, we're going to start this process rolling. It's going to be super exciting. So let me see who we got. We got some great people here. Go ahead, raise your hand. And I'm going to go with Lisa, Lise, last name S. And Lisa, I'm going to send you an unmute request. So we're going to do kind of like a mini assessment here. What's going on, or what's your biggest question for Dr. Karen today?
Hi. Hi, thank you so much. I think the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've just been zapped, like no energy,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure why.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is the last 2 weeks you've been zapped of energy. You don't know why. It sounds like you were feeling better before 2 or 3 weeks, and there's nothing else extraordinary going on in your life right now, correct?
Correct.
Aha. Okay, awesome. So I mean awesome that you're
I get
zapped, but
it.
awesome that that's it, right? There's nobody dying around you,
No,
Good,
no,
good, good.
all good.
Okay. All right. So Lisa, what we're going to do is check in to see which of the holographic codes are the most important and kind of go from there. Is that okay with you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yes. And for everyone else on the call and the replay, just kind of feel into the body because even though we're just doing assessments, sometimes things shift. It's
Mm.
really neat when we're like when two or more are gathered together, right? Things can start to shift. So you might notice some shifting even if we're just testing. So I'm going to tune into Lisa's field right now with muscle testing. Now, I'm actually using my fingers for this as I'm connecting. It's too small to see on video, so I'm not going to hold my hand up. So, okay, so let's just say out of the holographic codes, which one is the most important for Lisa? Is it physical? Nope. Mental? Nope. Emotional? Nope. Energetic? Yes. Okay, so it's energetic. We have spiritual and dimensional. So we have energetic. Okay, all right. And how many? This is a very high level but quality question. How many energetic things? Okay, I'm getting one. Okay, so one main energetic thing. All right. Are we allowed to know what it is? I'm getting a yes. All right. Is it in I'll say, is it in the chart? This is the chart that you guys get when you're in the program. So we're going to look at our chart energetic. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at the chart. Is it an energy weapon? Nope. EMF? Nope. Pernicious influences? Yes. Okay. So I have to define it. Pernicious influences comes from Chinese medicine, and it in Chinese medicine we never talk about like infections or bacteria or mold or anything like that. We talk about like excess wind or excess heat, those kinds of things. So let's see which of these it is. So excess heat, summer heat, wind, dry, cold, damp. Okay, so we have excess damp. Let me double check. Is it true that Lisa has excess damp? Yes. Okay.
Mm.
And is that from weather? No. Is that from diet? Yes. Okay. Is it from other than the diet? Okay. We're getting kind of biologically here, but that's okay. So you can have an energetic imbalance with diet. So let me just name off, and Lisa, you could let me know if it fits or doesn't fit, because I'm always open to being wrong. In Chinese medicine, the excess damp has to do with a diet that has cheese or milk, perhaps sweets, like in the summer, ice cream is like the most damp thing you can eat, fried foods, things like that. So are these things part of your diet at this point?
Typically, no, but I have been increasing sugar lately.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
would be a pro-damp kind of
Right.
thing to do. So that alone may be helpful. Now, let's just check in what percentage of this tiredness has to do with this energetic code. 60%. Okay, so that is the biggest one. And how many other codes are relevant to you? One. Okay, is it physical, mental, emotional? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So emotional, is that 40 or is that less than? Okay, so it's like 60% is this excess damp, the excess damp energy, which is kind of hard to feel, you know. Then you have, you know, your dietary things that contribute to it, and then you have the emotional stuff as well. Now you said yes, so can you tell me what you mean? Is there something that reminded you of?
So my daughters are, I'll be an empty nester in the fall.
Okay.
So I'm just going through emotional, like, who am I now? Who am I now that they don't need me anymore as a mother? And just finding out where am I going to go? Like just rediscovering myself, I guess, you know, and then
Okay,
selling one of
yes.
my businesses. So it's just
Wow.
a new me, I guess, you know, at
Yeah, that's
56.
yeah, you were actually correct. So
Yeah.
that's really cool that you kind of knew already. I would say you're about 96, 97% on that it has to do with those topics. Now, sometimes we get that it's completely like not even conscious, like what is going on, something's healing. But in this case, you are conscious of it. So good for you,
Thank you.
for knowing that. So would you like to just do a mini micro healing on the dampness and just see if
Please,
you
I would
notice
love
anything?
that. Very
Okay, and
grateful.
you promise not to eat as much sugar?
Yes, I know. No, I don't want it. It's not
We
good
have
for
other
me.
things for that, but anyway, that's beyond the point. So, okay, so we'll have everybody tune in for yourself, right, in the body. And everyone, if you're on mute, Lisa, you can stay, you know, off mute, but go ahead and repeat after me. I now command
I now command
that all excess damp
that all excess damp
be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated
be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated
for me in all my timelines
for me in all my timelines
in the highest and best way,
in the highest and best way,
all directions of time,
all directions of time,
with speed, ease, and grace. Thank you.
with speed, ease, and grace. Thank you.
Okay, so just take a breath in and out and tune into the body again. Everybody else can do that as well. And if you're not Lisa, you can also put in the chat if you noticed anything shifting in yourself, because there's damp is pretty common. So Lisa, do you notice anything in your body as you complete that activation?
Yeah, I feel lighter on my right side, like my pelvis.
Interesting.
And then also on my throat on the right side.
Okay, very cool. So the body is kind of reorganizing itself, rebalancing. So yeah, thank you so much for playing.
Oh, my
with us.
pleasure. Thank you. You're a blessing. Thank you, Darius.
Thank you. And I gotta say, we're getting some report. Thank you. I'm freaking out because we're getting reports in the audience too. We got Susan says my stomach felt lighter. Y'all let me know. We're gonna take another caller. Who knows what else y'all are gonna have happen? This is awesome. Keep sharing with us. Dr. Karen, I got people literally in the audience feeling all sorts of stuff. I mean, they're just flooding in. So I'm gonna read some of these. Can I read these, Dr.
Yes,
Karen?
please.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I felt my stomach feels lighter, says Susan. Karen is sneezing. Hopefully she's not driving. Fallon, my right leg is cramping under me. So we want to ask about that. Lynn is feeling lighter. Barb says, I felt energy sweeping from my head down to my feet. That is a good sign. I feel happier, says Rayhana Rihanna. Another person wrote in, wow, this call is helping take my mind off things. I'm feeling tingling in my legs and arms. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, my right knee is actually hurting, Tatiana says. Okay, so that's okay. You're feeling things in your body. So yeah, let's take another one. This is interesting. Stuff's happening everywhere. Okay, we'll do one more, and then we got something for the whole group. And just remember, we started about 5 minutes late, so don't worry. We're gonna stay on track here for everybody. You're not gonna miss a thing. Oh, but I will say one thing. The people that are gonna miss something, if you're listening in on Facebook or Zoom on the live stream, and you're not actually Facebook or YouTube, sorry, and you're not on the Zoom, I'm going to cut the live stream for the rest of the world. So if you're on the Zoom, you're going to get everything. If you want to join us, go to our UWealth Revolution site, but we are going to post the replay at uwealthrevolution.com/Karen 29. You'll find a link below in the description, and you can catch the rest of the interview plus the activation we're going to do. So for all the live stream folks, we'll see you later.